Damn it.
No, it's fine.
Tom Peters is here in the studio tonight.
Good. Tom, yeah.
What's up?
From Holy Que, in Lahaska. I always get that wrong. I always say Peddlers Village, but it's technically Lahaska.
Or New Hope.
Or New Hope, yeah.
New Hope.
Sometimes being associated with Peddlers Village is good.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes.
But when you're a rock star like Tom, I don't know. What's going on up there in Peddlers Village these days? You're making all kinds of dust and renovations out here.
We're making a little mess.
Yeah.
Got a new smoker on the way.
Smoker.
Be here on Monday. It's like anything. Trying to get everyone in one room.
Is it stressful to close down for that long?
Oh yeah.
As a business owner, a
1000%.
restaurant in person.
I didn't want it to be this long. But the problem was I need a roof guy. I need a moving company. I need a contractor to move the counter. It's like 1,000 missing links.
Are you managing all of that construction while that's all going on?
Yeah.
Yeah. What is that? Does that bring you back to your real estate days?
No, not even close. No, different times.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just in strange days, man. I mean, you know this. You're in the industry.
Yeah.
It's so hard to find quality work without getting bent over.
I think we have a real problem on our hands here, and on a variety of different levels. There's obviously a shortage of tradesmen.
Yeah.
And then there's this, and I always feel so old when I say things like this, but there's just for instance, I went to McDonald's earlier, not ashamed of it.
Yeah, own it.
I come up to the window to pay for my meal, and the kid's just it's two guys at a register, and this is one of those high-speed McDonald's, right?
Ooh.
They're turn and burn on the side of the highway. We got to get you out of here.
Yeah.
And I come up, and I'm just trying to pay the guy, and he's looking at me just dumb-facing me. And I hand him my card. He puts it in the thing and just hands me my card back and just looks at me without saying a single word. And I'm like, okay, what did I order? And he looked at me. He's like, and he looked back at the other guy. He's like, how do I see what this guy ordered?
Oh, shit.
And I'm literally
God.
dude, you just rang me up. You didn't even say hi to me. And you messed up. He didn't. He luckily, he was okay, but it was one of those 2-line McDonald's. So the reason could have been
yeah, it could have been a car behind me.
got by. But I thought to myself, I'm like, dude, that kid didn't even say, he just looked at me.
It's
Just
wild, man.
card. He didn't even give me a sound. He just, nothing. I drove away being like, does nobody train this dude?
You know what I think it is? And this is just coming from what I see. People are so hard up trying to find good help.
He did smile, though.
They don't even care. Just show up and you'll get paid.
The standards drop.
Yeah, tremendously. Because no one's looking.
What about the people that can maintain that standard right now? Do they break away from the other people that just are willing to get whatever?
I think that this was their time to shoot their shot and try something different out of the restaurant business.
Yeah.
But I see a lot of them making a comeback because they realized it wasn't that easy to just make X amount of dollars. Because at some point, the rubber has to meet the road.
Yeah.
So if you want a better job, you're going to have to actually perform or learn something new or learn a new trade. For conversation's sake, you were a cook, now you want to work for some telecom company.
You got Gilmar right here.
Yeah.
Gilmar was a chef, and now he creates content for a very successful company.
He also gives a shit with what he does. That's a rarity.
Yeah.
A lot of these people I don't want to work in a restaurant anymore. I just want to make $30 an hour at something and not care. But at some point, you're going to have to start caring about your quality. So I think a lot of people are starting to phase out. Layoffs are happening all around. I mean, you hear it.
Yeah.
All these big companies and stuff. So I think the restaurant industry as a whole is going slowly back to where it was.
It's going to bounce back.
Pre-COVID. Oh, it's going to. It took time, though.
What do you think, 5 years until it bounces back to win? Because I used to love going out to eat. We went out to eat the other night, and we picked one of the few spots around Ardana that is the service is really good right now.
Yeah.
And our server,
she was having a hard day.
She was having a rough day.
I'll tell you, overall, though, they really run a great
But I love that
operation.
Place. Completely get it.
I've never been there, Ardana.
Oh, it's awesome.
Ardana. There's one in Newtown, too.
What is it? What do they serve?
It's raining.
Yeah, it's fusion.
Yeah.
That's the word everybody throws in there.
Fusion.
It's just fusion. It's mostly Italian, Mediterranean Italian.
Greek Italian.
Yeah.
They have some flatbread pizzas and stuff.
It's really, really light food.
Yeah.
I like
and
that.
good food, good quality food.
Really quality.
Yeah.
And the atmosphere is cool.
Yep.
But there was a place. You ever been to Solstice in Newtown before it closed? Because it's now Ardana. Did you ever go there?
I walked in once, never ate.
So when that place first opened, it was kind of like during the coronavirus, and it was from a restaurant. It was the same restaurant out in California, and those people had some tie to Bucks County, so they opened one here. And the first time I went there, the service was insane. Mind you, we're in the middle of the coronavirus, so I'm like, we're out to eat. We're spending money. These drinks are awesome. But then, like, we went there again and again and again. And then after, like, a few times ago, we're like, I would take a break. And then probably maybe 9 months later, went back, and everything had changed. The menu was the same. The service wasn't that great. The drinks were like, but like it just had kind of lost its luster. But they never like tried anything new.
Never rebounded.
And I think what happened was that they could never try something new because so much went into the service, and the turnover was so great that they were constantly behind on the training of that level of service. Because it was like, all right, well, we need to train somebody for 4 weeks. It's like, but when nobody gets out of the 4-week training, so we have nobody to do it. And I think they just kind of, packed up.
That was a tough time because at that time, again, if you opened during COVID, there's so many unknowns.
Yeah, you opened during COVID.
Yeah. And I was fortunate to have a decent staff for a little bit in the beginning, and then it got really hard to find good help afterwards. So it's hard to recuperate from that.
Yeah. What are you doing with the people that work for you while you're closed down right now? Did it align with like vacations and stuff, or?
I mean, I made it known 2 months in advance that we were doing this renovation, and the problem was I didn't have a definite date when the smoker was going to be here. That was delayed by 2 months. Getting a contractor, finding all these moving parts. So I said, when I got an idea of when the smoker was going to be done, because it's coming from Texas, and they're really backed up with orders. But I just planned, these are the times that we're going to be closed. So if there's work to be done and I need you to help out, I'll let you know. If not, make arrangements to do what you got to do to survive.
I know when we were hanging out last, you were talking about a food truck.
Yeah.
Where are you at with the food truck right now?
That'll be here late June, beginning of July.
Perfect for summer.
Yeah.
Nice.
Summer, fall season, because Peddlers is really big from Labor Day on. We're doing a lot with the Eagles tailgate parties too. So
shit.
I'll be here before that.
Really?
We did a pop-up at the Navy Yard for them, and it was a hit. And like literally the next day, the owner of whatever company that was doing this said, we want you back for all of them next year. I said, cool. You got
Say
me.
less, dude.
That's awesome.
Yeah, say less.
Congrats. That's awesome.
Thank you. So it's been a work in progress, but we're getting our legs. I think the food truck is really going to help the restaurant out more because it's giving us an opportunity to branch out to different areas. Even Jersey, the Shore, Philly, whatever, North Jersey, my old hood. Getting up there.
Yeah, you could do the punk rock flea markets and shit. When
Yeah,
you go
all
to
of
that
them.
Curado
All of
Center,
them.
that'd be sick.
Yep. So I'm excited for that. I mean, that was the original concept, was a food truck.
Yeah, you had the toe behind Smoker too, didn't you? At one point.
That was because we didn't know where we were going to land with the kitchen. But the original plan was a solid food truck with that smoker.
So would you tow the smoker behind the
No.
food truck? Because that would be an insane looking setup.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't do that. Unfortunately, it's hard to do because then, you got to remember, I have to be there for 14 hours before we even, start service.
So you have to be on site at where you're catering to.
Yeah, day before.
So what if? Could you imagine that?
Yeah.
You're like the beginning of the tailgate.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you should sell yourself. You're like technically the tailgate starts when the meat man shows up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's the meat man?
I like the way we're doing it now because I essentially have my restaurant on a truck, like the exact same equipment, same holding cabinets. So I know that when I put that stuff in and head out, it's going to be just like you're having it there.
That's
at the
awesome.
Restaurant. So I'm excited for that.
Was that intentional that
Yeah.
you got like the same equipment to
Yep.
replicate every aspect
Yep.
of it?
Good idea.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I have a question, I guess.
Yeah.
In Texas, barbecue is part of like it's more than just part of it's part of tourism. People come to. I know we went to the one Texas place that everybody goes to.
Franklin's.
Yeah, Franklin's.
And Ariel got sick. I remember the story.
Oh yeah. So like we waited in line. We knew we were gonna go wait in line at this place.
Yeah.
Or at least she did. Like at what point or what does it take to have people come to Peddlers Village?
It's happened. I mean, since the last time I was on here, we've developed a really loyal following, and they come from everywhere. I mean, upstate New York, Washington, D.C., Virginia, and I'm like, how'd you even hear about us?
Yeah.
And it's all Instagram, or we did a bunch of TV spots. I think we were on like 7 or 8 times in the course of 2 years.
Nice.
And, I think the best one was 6 ABC. And they aired that episode 3 times. And, if someone lived in Delaware, they actually watched that show. So the person in Delaware told their cousins in D.C., and they actually came just to see us. I'm like, you just drove 3 hours to, he's like, yeah. I'm like, wow. So like,
I think that's because what made me think of that was just obviously my experience with barbecue, and then the fact that you're mobile now.
Yeah.
So if you're going down to the stadiums, you're getting people from Delco, at the very least, and South Jersey, that are gonna have your food, and then realize, are you gonna is there some aspect of the food truck that makes people realize that there is an actual location? Because sometimes when you look at food trucks kind of become their own like unit themselves.
Yeah. I'm going to promote it that way. We have the spot too, but at the same time, it's not going to make or break me. I mean, to me, it's just exposure.
No, yeah, I wasn't saying it like that. More so, just calling the food truck something different, like Holy Que Mobile or something like that.
I'm going to tie it into the restaurant, so it's easier to manage that way too. I mean, social media right now it's too much. I mean,
so you're not you're just going to do the food truck through the main social media, right? Yeah, that's smart.
And it'll list, we are here. So again, that'll tie in. Well, if we can't make it to the truck, we'll go to the restaurant.
Yeah.
So that to me, I mean, our following's been great. It's grown a lot since we've opened in 2.5 years.
So is the focus, your focus is just delivering a good product then?
That's it. It always was. Never changed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because honestly, if you're building a following and everything like that, the way you are and have been in not a lot of amount of time. I mean, a lot's happened to you in the last 3 years because you've changed that place. You've adapted to the constant flow of the market. I actually got to give you credit for all the people that I think we've had come in here. I would say you've probably switched up, not really what you're doing because you've still been delivering barbecue.
Yeah.
But how you're doing it, I think you've changed more than any other kind of business that we've had come through here.
It's been a learning experience because, you have an idea when you first open, and then there's something called a pivot.
Yeah,
you have to, and we have a mutual friend.
Yeah, we do have a mutual friend
that really taught me a lot, and that was one of the most important things she taught me was how to pivot. Your end game can be the same, but how you get there can change 1,000 different ways. And that's what helped me, I think. And believe it or not,
so what's I guess what's the end game? Then what's your end goal? Is just to be recognized for good barbecue?
Honestly, it's just to build just have a great restaurant that feeds a lot of great people. And that's what barbecue is.
Full bellies.
That's it. Give back to the community, have a great staff that actually loves to come to work. Mm-hmm. I'm not looking to make $10 million on this place. I'd be an idiot to think that, or open 25 of them. Because you can't replicate this kind of stuff. It's very hard to do.
So you know for a fact that you would never, what's the chain? The Mission Barbecue?
Mission Barbecue.
There would never be a Holy Que.
No.
Ever.
No. I'd rather be.
Because I think you have some business sense behind you that I think if anybody that I knew doing barbecue, that you could probably do something like that. Just from watching you pivot as many times as you
here's the thing.
You don't wait around for change.
The way I look at it, I'd rather be a place that sells 10,000 pounds of meat a day in one day than have 25 places with each one with their own staff. Like it's
not worth it.
It's not worth it. And right now, I mean, it's just hard to find good help. If you asked me this back then, I'd say no. Finding help's easy. Everyone works in restaurants. It's not the case anymore.
What do you think about like our culture changing from like, because the American culture, we were talking about traveling abroad. And when if you go to like certain parts of Europe in August, good luck doing anything.
Yeah.
Like everybody goes home like during the day. Like nobody works. Like but it's all known. Like everybody can do it because everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
It's the culture. Like how do you think our culture is shifting to a more relaxed, like slower pace? Because I remember when we were kids, like it was the speed of business. Everything was fast. How fast could the internet be?
Yep.
How fast was the mailman? How fast everything was fast. And now it seems like everybody wants fast for some things, but nobody wants to be fast.
It's definitely changing. I mean, even the way I speak to people who work for me is changing. Like, not that I'm a bad person, but I grew up in a kitchen in a way where, back then, chefs or your managers threw stuff at you to kill you if you made a mistake. Now, everyone wants the glory or the notoriety of being the chef or whatever you want to call it without putting in the effort. And I don't come from that school. So it's been tough adjusting. We like most places. I mean, you've seen it. Being in the restaurant business, Gilmore, it's hard to not have a revolving door. Mm-hmm. As much as I am against that and want a staff that really cares, but it is what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah. What do you think there's any benefit in holding out? Like, because for someone like me, who's kind of in like a transition / rebuilding period in my career, like there's certain things that I'm hung up on now that I'm not willing to give up on.
Then don't.
Like certain quality things or communication things or standards that like I've grown to appreciate, and like I'm seeing that like at least in our industry, like our our industries are very adjacent, the food and construction industries, and I like kind of get a little worried that I'm like, how am I going to build this like this standard that I want and grow it if it's so hard to find people? And that's kind of like, how do you spend your whole career beating yourself up chasing something that like is slipping away?
What this is a very vivid experience. Like it was a turning point.
Yeah.
It was last fall, and we had a couple guys that worked for us, and it was the first time I actually lost my shit on somebody because they didn't feel like washing dishes.
In your life or in the history of Holy Que?
In the history of Holy Que.
Okay.
Yeah. In the old days, I'd probably be in jail right now. But that was a pivotal moment because I said, enough. I will do this myself until the right people come. And I waited about a month and a half, and it worked. It wasn't hard. I knew the business just like you. So, like, one thing about you, I have always respected you as a business person because we're a lot. I don't know if you've realized, we're a lot alike in a lot of ways.
I think I know this now. When we first met, I didn't know it.
Yeah, I didn't know it either. I don't think I think we like maybe borderline didn't like each other at one point because
no, I think what it is
I don't
is
mean in a
that
bad way.
we're kind of like brothers. Like you're older than me, but like you're like my older. We're alike.
We're very
kind
intense.
We were raised by the same people.
Yeah.
So we're family. We hate each other, but it's like when we're like, I'll see you next week. Like we're cool, but like
Andrew's a perfectionist, and again, it's hard to find people who care as much as you do about what you're putting out, whether it's a home you're building, whether it's food you're putting out. And that's one thing I noticed about you guys, and you as well, Gilmore. Like, you guys really care about what you do, and I think that made me not maybe stick around. I mean, you're always going to be here. You're always around, but it's like I like this dude. I like Gilmore. These
Yeah.
guys are solid dudes. You can't say that these days.
Being a perfectionist though has come with costs, and I've learned, and you've probably learned this,
Yeah.
or at least like I've watched you and you've watched me kind of do a lot of the same stuff. Like for instance, when my brother and I used to work together, we got in a blowout fight the day before Thanksgiving, and I fired him. But I'm pretty sure he already quit. Like we were like, and it had gotten to that point. I was probably 25 years old.
Okay.
So it had gotten to a point that like I wanted our business, and I wanted the business that we were doing at the time to be so fucking great that it like consumed me. Like everything we had to do had to be great. Like we had to do everything as best as we could. In terms, not just physically, like we had to load the trailer, like we had to get up on time. We had to like take, and my brother is a great guy. At the time, he was like the greatest guy, and still is. But at the time, like he was very stubborn, didn't want to talk about it. I didn't know how to lead us. And like it took like that perfectionist was all that I had. So, you learn, I guess it kind of sounds like you're going through it too. You lower your standards to like let people come into the perfection, but it's like really hard to navigate like telling people like, hey, this is the standard we're doing without like vaporizing your relationship.
It's actually the opposite. I keep my standard and wait for those right people to show up. I just keep doing the work that I believe in.
Sometimes though, I think that there are people, like I can see things in people that like you have to take risks on people.
Yeah.
Gilmar is the common denominator in the room. When I met Gilmar, he really wasn't doing that much content at the time. Like he had done some things that were very impressive, but he was mainly focused on culinary at that time and was like honest that he wanted to make a transition. And I was like, I need someone like that. I can't afford the best guy out there. You're a great dude. Fuck it. Like you come here and we'll do this. We'll roll the dice because I know your principles are there. So sometimes I think that like, and I've also messed myself up doing this where you think you can bring people up to the level. And I have done it successfully, and I've also failed at it more times than I've been successful.
And you're going to.
But I think that if it's okay to bring people in that aren't your standard yet.
Well, Gilmore's
as long as you're honest with them about it.
You saw something in him where you can put your faith behind him.
Yeah.
And he rose to it.
Yeah.
That's not a common thing. That's why he's still here.
That's probably happened to me, though, like probably 7 or 8 times, and I'm 35 years old.
Wow.
Like
you're lucky.
I mean, thank you.
I think so.
But I guess I would like to think it's me not giving up on, like certain people I've told to get the hell out, you're done. But there was a guy that I had helped me this past Saturday that I unfortunately had to let go 2+ years ago. And I like saw him on Instagram, messaged him, said, hey, see how he was doing, could use some side work. Boom, dude, you're back in. Like, cause I knew like the reason we had to let him go wasn't because he didn't have it. It was just like, he just was having a rough spot and like we had to make a tough call. But like these people, like cause I personally have changed a great deal as a person. So like I have to be able to accept that, like give opportunities to people to change in some form or fashion. So I think that the only reason I've had those many people do it is because I've like allowed it to happen. But I've also, now that I'm a little bit more mature in my leadership style, I'd like to think that I will be more successful at it now because I kind of like am learning more and more how to create an environment for that to happen.
Well, I would always, as an older brother talking to my younger brother, I would just say, don't ever change your standard because it's something that makes you who you are. Your tribe will show up.
Yeah.
Whether it's right away or whether it's in time. But I wouldn't say sacrifice yourself. That was my biggest like enlightenment was like, I'm not changing the way I do things. to appease somebody else.
You were always like that, do you think? Or that's now because you have this product?
I was always like,
did you always maintain such a standard for the people you brought into that circle, or is this like a Holy Que version of time?
No. In anything I did, I always wanted to do better. Whether it's continuing education in real estate, whether it's to learn how to build a business here, whether it's whatever, that always carried over into what I'm doing now. And I took what I learned there and put it into Holy Que. But at the same time, I've worked in kitchens. So, like, if you call yourself a cook or a chef, in my head, there's certain expectations. Like, you know how to make X, Y, and Z. So if you can't do these basic tasks, and I have to actually talk to you about it, you're a hack. You shouldn't be in the kitchen. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You know?
I think that's a lot like martial arts
and
fighting. You know, there's always those people that like, quote unquote, train, but then, you know, they'll never come to an open mat or they'll never come to your gym.
I suck.
No, but there's people that don't really like, they think they're doing it, but or you have those people that straight out lie to you that they like about their abilities, you know, thinking they can get away with it. They'll never be tested.
Well, the rubber always beats the road.
Yeah, eventually.
Right?
What do you like? Do you ever see you getting more than one food truck, or do you think
Absolutely.
Yeah.
My vision is to have.
See, I knew there was an expansion.
Oh no, 1,000%. But again, it's managed in one location. So we have the permits to be a commissary kitchen in the building next door.
What's that mean?
You need to have an actual kitchen for a food truck. You can't just make your food on a food truck and then drive off. So you need an actual home.
So you would still prepare the food.
Everything's made at the
home
place.
base.
Yep, at the home base, and just ship them out. And again, because I have the right equipment, it's going to be just like it's in a restaurant. So the smoker I have right now does, for example, 60 briskets in one cook.
Damn. God damn.
To give you context with that,
That's a lot of meat.
Yeah.
I do 17 now. 17 to 18 in the smoker I have now. It's 5 times the amount.
That's awesome.
Right?
So you're intentionally doing this infrastructure for the food truck.
I'm building the foundation.
Yeah.
And it's easier to manage. You know, one cutter, one counter person, and they're off. It's not a full menu in the food truck, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Right?
So what kind of menu would you serve on a food truck?
I'd mix it up and get a little creative with some like funky sandwiches. You know, like the Holy Grail's a big one everyone loves.
What's that?
It's the sausage link, slice of brisket, and pulled pork on one. And you can get a side of queso.
I don't think we've had that.
Yeah, it's on it was one of my first original
Really?
Sandwich. Yeah,
I
it's
don't
pretty.
think I've had that.
It's a third a pound each. You get a full pound of meat on a sandwich.
Holy shit.
Great sandwich.
Gilmore-
It's actually right there.
What?
Gilmore
It's the picture on the screen.
He looks behind him.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually right there. He's like, "What? You brought
He
one?"
looked behind himself.
That's
I thought he brought some.
That's it.
It's actually right there on the wall.
Oh, shit. This one?
That's it.
I don't think I've had that.
You know
Have
what
you had it?
sandwich.
he's thinking to himself right now? He's like, me and Andrew are going to go here for lunch tomorrow. But we're not,
But we're not.
because it's not open
not
for
open.
another week.
Yeah.
Next week. I miss it.
Shit.
I miss it. But yeah, so it's going to give me the capability of making a lot more food and staying open longer, which is great. And I love the fact that now we're open 3 days a week as opposed to 5. And that was one of the pivots, was dropping a couple days. And I'm selling more meat now.
No way. Really?
Yeah, more meat in 3 days than I did when I was open 5 days.
Damn.
Yeah, so let's talk about that, because I've read a few books about just managing your time, and like some of these things were about like some of these people took off crazy amounts of time from work, and like how they've structured the way they did it. Not saying I'm going to do that, but I think it'd be interesting at some point just to be like, all right, I'm gonna disappear for 6 months.
Yeah.
What goes into that management of like I don't know, like how do you approach all of this with your time, and then like the food truck time, and like what, like where is the where's the stepping stones from here? Like do you have to get all set up as the kitchen?
That's already set up.
And then do you have to bring more staff back, or do you use this because like you're using the food truck in periods of time that you might not be open for the restaurant? So like I guess my question was like, how do you go from 5 days a week to 3 days a week, sell more meat? Like, was that uncomfortable for a period of time?
It was, but it was a natural progression. What it did was actually create more urgency
For your customers.
for the customers, which was awesome.
That makes sense.
So you almost like told your customers like, hey, like for me, I guess would be like, I'm only emailing you back Wednesday through Friday.
No, I have an actual catering line and catering setup.
No, I'm saying like for like somebody outside of food, like you would still be able to like, you're still serving customers outside of those 3 days if you sell catering and things like that, obviously.
If it's a big enough party, yeah. It's gotten to the point, and again, because there's just inflation and everything else, it's got to be worth my while. You know, I'm not afraid of you know,
You don't want to lose money.
Exactly. You know, and
You're
like,
afraid to lose money. That's why people are like, we talked about this the other day with somebody. Like, how do you charge a premium for your product and be okay with it?
I'm not afraid
like,
of
you
that.
don't want to lose money.
I'm not afraid of it. My minimum is 100 people to do an outside catering gig. Like, if you want me to show up at your place, minimum 100 people.
And that's a lot of meat.
It's a lot of
A
meat.
lot of meat. But again, I mean, with payroll the way it is, with food costs where they are,
So so that's, but if you go back to the sense of urgency, you would have to say that the product would have to be quality for the urgency not to destroy your customer base. Am I wrong?
no.
Because you can't just like throw urgency on anything.
No.
You throw urgency on like standard commodities. They're just like, whatever, I'll go to the other grocery store or whatever. But you now have that's got to feel great. Like you have a following that's willing, like, oh, dude, we got to like we buy raw milk. Like Ariel's got to go get milk on Thursdays. Like you're the meat man. Like people go get their meat from you on these specific days.
Yeah.
I think the secret to that is just, again, just giving a shit. Like, you will never hear me say, I got this. It's a piece of cake. It's the new smoker is going to be a game changer because that's straight fire. There's
What kind of smoker is it?
It's called M&M Barbecue Company.
Oh, I think you mentioned this a while back.
It's actually these guys right here, M&M on my hat. And
Dude, there's a lot of parallels going on right now. We got Meat Man, Eminem,
yeah,
Eminem, like dude, like
Didn't you get yours is a different color, right? Or no? Or I remember you
it's going to be I think it's called Irby Gray. Product lineup. It's to the left. See the rotisserie?
right here?
That's it.
Jeez.
this is that baby blue one.
So it's
Who's
the
Baby Blues is?
M1000 right in the middle.
Jesus Christ.
That's it, brother.
It's like a gas
It's
chamber.
11 feet deep.
The M1000.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
See, 48 to 60 something briskets. I can't read that.
4,600 pounds.
Yeah.
55 inches wide.
Yeah, it's a beast.
That's huge.
For context,
Jesus, Tom, this is a box truck.
yeah,
Jesus.
Good God.
This is a median size.
that's the medium size one. Yeah.
Hey, you don't put that
And
on him.
what's great is Mike from M&M. I met him before he launched his company. He's not changed the person that he is. And the guy is selling smokers all over the world now.
How long's he been in business?
He's been in business for a while, and he was a repair guy for J&R, which is the smoker I have now, which is how I met him. So on the sneak, he talked about he's building these rotisseries. I'm like, you're telling me this now? He said, well, we wanted to perfect it before we actually launched it. And in 2 years' time, he's built like, I don't know how many smokers for the top 50 restaurants in Texas, barbecue places. The number one barbecue place in Texas has their smoker. The Wynn in Las Vegas. What's that concert that's happening now? The fancy
Coachella?
He sent a couple smokers there. Like,
Damn.
he's got a smoker going to France.
You know
He's
you're a
going
big
to-
deal when you're
he's
at
going.
Coachella.
You know you made it when Dubai is calling you for a smoker.
Yeah, those boys take their meat seriously.
So, like,
Yo.
this is what we have now, and I think we're the first rotisserie on the East Coast.
How about
That's
how
incredible.
about
Ibiza.
Ibiza?
I don't know about Ibiza yet.
I did. I'm
Imagine
calling it
shipping that thing.
Ibiza
Imagine shipping that.
on purpose.
Oh, man, that shit weighs. How much does that shit weighs?
The M1000 weighs a formidable
Yeah.
scrolling 4,600 pounds.
4,600 pounds.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I think it cost the guy like 15 grand to ship it to France.
Jeez.
Yeah. So
If
this
you're
is going to be in our place.
I feel privileged to know you.
That's
No,
crazy.
come on.
No, come on.
You guys have been such awesome. I like to call you friends from the beginning. You always have a seat at this table.
Yeah.
Always.
That's what I like about the podcast is it doesn't happen with everybody that comes in here, but you get the pleasure of sitting down and meeting someone and then like trying and using their business. Mm-hmm. And then like the podcast became like this weird community thing. But I feel super privileged to like have met, because like you're one of the first people that came on when we like rebranded and put all the work into the new like all the new information and stuff. Like you were definitely in like the first 20.
Yeah.
When we reset. We had a little reset.
Yeah,
I feel honored.
Original show got canceled.
It's okay. Bigger and better things.
Yeah, it got better.
Yeah, so like I've known you some time now.
It's almost 2 years.
2 years, yeah.
Yeah.
Dang.
Damn, that is a while. Holy crap.
We've shared meat.
We've shared a meat.
We broke bread.
Yeah. This thing is insane.
Like how often are you indulging on the barbecue?
I sample just to make sure it's coming out okay.
You're getting your share of barbecue just in little increments?
Very little. Very little. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to. Just my health is number one right now. Like that's my goal. Like I'm not even joking. Like
yeah.
No, yeah, you slimmed down a bit.
I was 241. I'm now down to like 190.
Oh,
yes, let's go.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What was what would you do to cut the weight?
Intermittent fasting. That's it.
What hours?
12 to 8
Okay.
is when I eat. And I was using those meals, the Vitality Fit.
Vitality Fit, yeah.
I didn't add any meals. I just spaced them all in to one time frame, and it just came off.
How many meals a day did you do?
3.
3?
Yeah,
Okay.
I would 2 of theirs. I'd make something like a breakfast or a shake or something.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that helped a lot. I got to the point I couldn't make up the stairs.
What it was Erica and Nico.
Yep.
Right?
Awesome
Vitality.
people. Shout out to Vitality Fit.
Hey.
Yeah, we've been planning on having them on. Their business is just I think they're just very busy.
They're just good people.
Yeah, they seem like they're just very doing well.
Like it's very rare that you see a couple succeed like that together. You know, they're doing it right. I give it to them.
Yeah, it's true. It's I mean, it's rare you see any sort of partnership to succeed together the way theirs does.
Yeah.
I often think there's a lot of power in couples that go into business together if they have the right foundation of like communication and like the relationship and everything like that. Because there's a ton of construction companies around here that are run by like husband and wife. Very successful construction companies are run by like family and husband and wife operate. We're in one.
Yeah, we're in one.
I was literally just like Nick and his wife like are doing it. Like that relationship, you know, it's like when I had my brother around or when he comes back from the military. When you have someone that you've already gone through so much with, it's very easy to like do other stuff with.
Yeah.
If you have that basis for like figuring things out.
That's huge.
Yeah, because you guys understand struggle.
You have the rapport.
Yeah, you got the rapport, and you guys both want to succeed and do the same thing.
Yeah.
So
I gotta find one then.
yeah, she worked the counter for you.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we could do I feel like you can dance. Can you dance like salsa or anything like that?
I used to break dance growing up.
I kind of had a feeling, dude.
Yeah.
I had a feeling.
No, I used to battle like hardcore. Like,
no way.
Yo,
Can we get a picture of you like in a suit or something?
Dude, this is before Celt, but I mean, I legit like all the old freestyle days.
Yeah. Dude.
Oh yeah.
On cardboard.
You know what's funny? I still play it sometimes in the morning. Like I like still play some like 80s freestyle. And I'm sitting here in my head, it looks great. I still got the moves. and then when I actually look at the camera and like see, I'm like, I suck. Like, my back's kinked out now. And like, it's hysterical, man. Like, I never it was George Lamond, Bad of the Heart. That came on. I was rocking in my head.
Oh, shit.
But I was like, what's this guy got epilepsy? Like, it's
yeah, the reason
funny.
I say it, you have like a like a smooth vibe to you that I'm like, I could see this guy like.
Yeah, you used to call people brother.
I was a club kid
playing trumpet or something like that. Like you go to like a jazz bar in like New York City and like accidentally run into Tom. Like, dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, he has a different name.
Be like, oh my God, there's Tom. Be like, that's not Tom. That's slow.
the lives that we lead.
Is what?
It's the lives that we lead.
Oh yeah,
you know?
yeah. That's his name.
No, those were some good times, man. Back in the day.
Yeah. What? You lived in Arizona, right?
Yeah, for 2 years.
And then but where'd you like mainly grow up?
New Brunswick is where I went to or grew up. Was born in New Brunswick. I think when I was like 19, 20, I moved back to Hoboken. My dad's a Bayonne kid. So I always loved being close to New York. Like even at like, I was crazy, 14, 15 years old, I would just sneak on the train and go right to New York City. Like at that age.
Nice.
You know, like fearless, loved New York City. Let's go to Studio 54 at 14 years old.
Oh shit.
Yeah, me and Rosie. Okay. Rosie is a very dear friend of mine. She's my club kid. We still talk to this day.
Nice.
And we used to take the last train out on a Friday night and come back first thing in the morning.
Damn.
And yeah, we'd lie and say we were sleeping over so-and-so's house. But like, I was in it, man. Like, I loved the nightclub scene.
Did you ever see any famous people in there?
No, I mean, I was young. You know, back then, like, it was like the movie. You know, Friday night.
It wasn't even like he didn't even hit his growth spurt. He's like,
yeah, I actually had a full mustache at like 12, I think.
Holy shit!
I'm an Arab, so like we're hairy. You know, so like. I always got in. Back then, it was 18 and over and 21 to drink. So as long as you got in, you were in. Didn't matter how old you were.
yeah.
Oh, your family's Arabian?
I'm Lebanese, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yep.
Were your parents immigrants?
My mom was. My dad was born here. He was born in Bayonne.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You did mention that. Yeah.
Yeah. Way to listen, Gilmer.
What the fuck?
The New York scene was my thing, and I think that's what prompted me to open my first restaurant when I was 24, like a supper club. Because I was so into the club scene.
To listen to him talk about New York, you know when like Joey Diaz tells the stories about how he used to go into New York City as a kid. We used to go and get pizza, and then we'd hit the Chinese food. We'd go to club all night.
This guy had 8 ball of coke in his ass. He always talk about 8 ball of coke in someone's ass. Always.
It's crazy.
Yeah, you hear these stories about how New York used to be, and
dude.
like it's still crazy. It's still cool and all, but it's not like I've never. Like the stories I've heard about New York in like the 80s and 90s, like we've never seen that.
I've seen shit that like the kids these days would probably be like scorned for life.
Because like we all know New York City post 9/11.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't old. Like I was in 8th grade when 9/11 happened. So like by the time I like start going out, like the city was different. Like I think New York City back in the day from the stories and stuff, like it just sounded like the Wild West.
All right. To give you context.
Yeah.
So I was a back waiter at this restaurant called La Fontana when I was like 13, 14. And the train station was literally right across the street. Kid moves here from Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
I think he was like on Rumspringa or something. Yeah. But he was a back waiter as well. Never went to New York.
What's a back waiter?
Back waiter like, used to help the waiter out. It was like a 5-star restaurant.
Oh, okay.
So like we were like their bitch pretty much. You know, get them forks and knives, get them this, get them that.
Okay. You're making it happen.
Yeah. So work's over. I want to go to New York. I'm like, we'll take you to New York. This kid from Lancaster. Take the train up. 38-minute train ride. And we go to 42nd Street. Now, when I tell you, back then, 42nd Street was like the guys with the coats that opened up, like
yeah.
drugs on one side here. Every other store was a peep show or the hookers, whatever. So this kid is like a deer in headlights. You know, I think he was praying in his head. Like he was like, get me out of here. Like, you want to see New York? We took him to go see New York. A hooker grabs him. Grabs his package.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think that was the first time a woman's ever touched him before. He goes running back to the train station. So we go running after him. Like, come on, what happened, dude? That was probably like the fastest trip to New York. We're literally at 20 minutes. He actually moved back to Lancaster the next day. He was mortified.
His family sends Tom like a basket of cookies every day.
Yeah, I got to think of pretzels.
Yeah, he gets these like weird gifts every year.
He works at the Amish market here in Newtown. I'm convinced it's the same thing. There's
here.
one guy that he's like, I know you. I'm like, nah, not probably.
It's not me.
Not me. But yeah.
What if we do? I mean, we're technically investigative journalists here.
Yeah.
I would say.
According to today, yeah.
According to today's standards. Like, we could go put him on the spot.
I think you should.
Like, dude, I heard a story. I heard a story, dude. What year was this? Be like,
oh, it was, man, 1980. I was still in high school. 86?
I'd be like, yeah, dude, where were you in 1986?
1986. That's scary.
Yeah.
Were you born?
No.
Were you born?
I was born in 88.
Wow.
I was born 94.
So you were 2 and you were a thought.
Yeah, I was a thought.
And I was tearing the covers off the wall.
Basically, yeah.
I just feel real fucking old right now.
Paving the way for his little brother.
Yeah, right. No,
That's awesome.
I feel that way with my little sister and them now.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck, man, all you kids used to be this little, and now
How old's your younger
she's driving. She's 21, about to be 22.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's
Got a long road ahead of us.
yeah, we do. But it's just a little weird. It's weird that I get that feeling at 28.
It gets weirder. Trust me.
Especially now with the internet and stuff, you see all these younger kids
These
and they know
TikTokers.
more. Yeah, the TikTokers, you're like, fuck, man.
Did you see what they did to TikTok recently?
Well, they banned it in one state.
No, they added a STEM button
What do you mean? The STEM
for like
button?
science.
Oh, they did?
Mm.
About time.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
STEM is, what does it stand
STEM
for?
research?
It's like a research.
Science.
It's an acronym.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Basically means nerds.
Hmm.
Science, technology, engineering, and math.
Okay, we are idiots.
What the fuck did I say? I said some other shit.
Yeah.
So what's the significance of this button?
So basically, you like if you click this button in the top, it only shows you science, engineering, technology,
Okay.
and math
I'm about to start using TikTok for that. Only for
type
that.
content,
I would never be on TikTok, I don't think.
and that's apparently what China's been doing to theirs automatically. So now we're getting the China version.
Yeah.
We're getting the China version.
Yeah, dude, I just downloaded the Chinese version of TikTok. It's way more educational.
Oh, yeah.
That's sick, man. That's good. That should have been on there.
We were joking a long time ago. You know how like they say like the TikTok's monitoring us?
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine, like, you know how there's always, like, the NSA, like, special task force that, like, monitor in other countries? But nobody ever thinks about, like, the poor Chinese guy that's got to monitor, like, all of us on TikTok. And, like, him being stuck with, like, it's, like, an elite team of
You're
Chinese
the laughing
guys.
stock.
Yeah, they're like, oh, my God, dude, I got to clock in and watch these fucking children dance like idiots.
Could you imagine?
He goes home and just, like, I bet you the suicide rate in that job is, like, unprecedented.
Dude, those guys see the worst of the worst shit.
You just got assigned to the American TikTok account task force.
Like, oh.
You're dead.
Imagine the international ones. You got to censor beheadings and all that shit.
Yeah, and it's like the human trafficking, like child stuff task force. Like that's the worst job. Slightly above that is like monitoring America's TikTok.
Just the worst
Just
shit.
like seeing just the
crazy.
most terrible things we can post. Oh man. What if we as a culture don't realize that is the winning strategy of the information war?
I don't.
Like we think we're doing a bad job, but we're actually polluting them with our pollution now.
The problem is we have nothing to back it up.
We're letting our people get so polluted on just terrible content and information, hoping it affects other countries.
Yep. I read an article the other day, and it said that American women are least desired in the entire world.
I don't agree with that at all.
The least.
we got some thickies,
Desirable.
man.
I don't agree with that.
We got some thick women out in Montana.
Whoever
It's
conducted
not because of looks, though.
It's more for...
It's all because of like what women want from their man or whatever it was. Like it's too one sided, and like they said, other men from other countries are like they're just toys.
Well, I feel that we're not as traditional as other countries. We don't have that culture.
I don't know. I see what you're saying, but I also think like I don't think it's wrong for women to like want things from men.
They could to a certain extent, but it's give and take.
Well, it's like if you go back hundreds of years, I provide you protection, physical protection. You cook the meat when I bring it back. mutual
Problem right now is
mutual
that
relationship.
They want you to bring it, cook it, feed it to them.
And now they want you to like go out there, get the wildebeest. Kill the wildebeest.
Yeah, if you don't make
Bring 'em
$200K
back.
a year, don't talk to me. It's like, what the fuck?
Dude, do you want me to get a woolly mammoth the first year out in our relationship?
There is like a little
we gotta
movement happening now.
What's the movie?
I'm starting to
movement?
see it on Instagram where very beautiful, put together women are lashing out against these IG models or sugar babies, whatever you want to call it, and say, you have to take care of your man. It's okay for him to have a 9-to-5 job and make $80,000 a year. It's a partnership. Like there's a group of women that are trying to bring it back.
Yeah, I think Ariel would sign up for that group.
I think we need it. I think people have been disillusioned. With what's real.
I think it's okay. I think we need to get more back to traditional style with like a twist.
What's the twist?
I don't think that we need to be like my relationship is very, very traditional where it's like I'm the breadwinner, Ariel does all the cooking, right?
But she does more than just cook.
Yeah,
so
but
you have that twist.
But if she had, but like if we had kids right now, Ariel would not work. She would and that's that's mutual understanding.
Yeah, right,
That's not
right.
either one of us being like, this is how it's going to go.
You have a partnership.
But there are people that, you both work or you I think the twist is like the traditional values is more so like being home and present for the kids, not having somebody else raise your kids.
Yeah.
Things like that need to come back. But as far as like, does the man have to be the breadwinner? I don't think that's for me to say. I think if you find a mutual partnership that works and it's mutual, whatever that like math or whatever that's going into that, honestly, is none of my business and has zero my concern.
Yeah, I
New
agree.
York Times had an article not too long ago.
Yeah.
Said that the shift that's happening right now with adolescents when it comes to dating and everything else, 70% of adolescent men, number one, think of suicide because they're lonely.
What's the percentage?
Because about 70% of
70%.
adolescent males I forgot what the age group was. And out of that percentage, they'd rather sit home, watch porn, or play on their computer than actually go after a girl.
Incels.
Because women have made it so difficult for them to be accepted. These women have these standards that these kids will never meet.
Yeah, I think that may be happening, but I've been married or with Ariel since I don't know, what were we, like 6 years or something like that. So I met her when I was 28. Like, I didn't have any problem meeting women. Like, I'm not like tooting my own horn or anything like that. It wasn't a problem. But I was running 7 miles. I was probably running 7+ miles 3 times a week. I was working out every day. I was trying to build a business. I take no shit from anyone. Like, I had no problem talking to people. I was involved in like I was trying to become something. Whereas like a lot of those dudes that are like, women are making it too hard for us. It's like, are you as a man doing anything that's worth looking at? Like, you shouldn't, this expectation that like girls just, your guy and girls just need guys. Like, it's not a thing anymore. So like, I think that people look at women that like demand that, mutual understanding as like as negative contributors, but really they're like, hey, where did all the men go?
Well, that's the thing. It was multifaceted. Like, the men aren't men anymore.
No,
these kids aren't being taught, this is what you have to do to be a man. They'd rather just sit back and do whatever.
Yeah.
So I think that was a part of the equation. But like, times have changed. I mean, listen.
But there's a time that I was like a younger man when I told you I discovered Andy Frizella from the MFCEO. It was like I was 23, 24 years old, and I was like, I had a certain way about me that would rub everybody the wrong way. And a lot of it was like me learning how to be an individual and an adult. But a lot of it was like my aggression towards being a perfectionist, making something of myself, making sure everybody around me was on that like lockstep, and like not knowing how to like put that energy out there like confidently, but not too aggressively. Yeah. And like, I thought that the way I was behaving, like the whole culture, the whole world was like, you are wrong. But then when I got some like a little bit of books and things like that, I realized that like the energy and the intensity I had is like highly desirable and utilized in whatever leadership role that I ended up in. So had I not gotten that like exposure to that content, to realize that it was okay to be like, no, you are going to hear me, like not be pushed around, like would I have ended up differently? And like, I think that's happening. I do think that's happening to people. It's not okay to be that intense.
You were always going to be you.
Probably, yeah.
Okay, that's ingrained in you.
Yeah, it was more of like a potential situation.
No,
if maybe
like
somebody else.
You're always going to be. Your brother's always going to be your brother.
Yeah,
that's the way he is. And the work you put into yourself makes you a better version of that. These kids right now are being demasculinized. Like, they're not. I don't know. Like, are they being taught to be men? Like, I mean, who taught us to be men?
I think it's because they're comfortable in what they have. You know, their parents provide for them. All they do is play video games all day.
I think that's what it was, right?
And
the hunter.
Yeah, those kids need to get out into the world and fucking experience shit. You know,
they've been coddled.
Exactly, coddled, sheltered.
So it's like you're too much provided for.
Yeah.
So you don't develop into that next level.
No. Yeah.
Interesting.
You're okay. You're a winner.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, we were in sports growing up. It was like, no, you sucked.
Yeah.
Get better.
Yeah.
I remember I like wanted to quit baseball when kid pitch because the kid whose dad like coached our team was like legit on steroids. Oh. And I was like, dude, like this kid's going to hit me with the ball when I go up to bat. He's like, yeah, he is. Get out there. I was like, this man scares me. My mom's like, I think you're just, my mom literally said this. I think you're just intimidated by his physique. Like literally, I was like 7.
That was by accident.
Dude, and that's how gun accidents.
Exactly. You're Jim is like, see, and then the whole
accidental discharge over here. Just
oh shit, funny. Sorry. Yeah. Anyway, your mom
said, my mom literally said like, I think you're intimidated by his physique, and I was literally, I like remember thinking to myself like, what does that mean? And like after she explained it, I was like, I do karate. Like, I don't fuck this guy. I'll dice this dude up. My mom's like, you're 7, buddy. Like,
doesn't matter.
You've been doing karate for like a week.
See, that's where it starts. That's where it starts, man.
Yeah.
You start growing balls at that age. Like,
yeah.
I remember growing up in New Brunswick. You know, I was a Catholic school kid because the school back then was horrific. And my dad said, if you ever get in a fight and you don't fight back, don't come home.
Yeah.
Swear to God.
Yeah.
You know, growing up at an early age, I'm sitting here like, I gotta hit you. Like, I mean, you just get my ass kicked. First thing I'd say, you say, you got in a fight? Yeah, Dad. What happened? Did you start it? No. Did you hit him? Yeah, okay. That was it.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
Now, if that happens, you got half your family going to the school.
Yeah.
You know, lawsuits.
My brother and this other kid got in a fight one time. And I actually like the fight kicked off, and I like had the wherewithal to like grab my brother's glasses before he got. I mean, now he doesn't wear any anymore. But this kid's mom showed up at our house after the brawl. It's like these kids are like 2nd graders fighting, 3rd graders maybe. Jeez. We're elementary school.
Yeah.
And this kid's mom like got home from work. I don't want to mention her job, but there's an aspect of the story. She pulls up in her vehicle that she works in, and hilarious. Knocks on our door, comes to the front door. My mom thinks a package is getting delivered. It's not. It's this kid's mom.
Oh my God.
Just getting off work. Starts yelling at my mom about this fight. Mom doesn't even know about the fight.
That's wild.
Plays it cool. She goes, yeah, they're boys. Literally just dismisses this woman. And the woman just It just left. Like that was it. The fight, like we were out of trouble. Like just like that. Like I like this. I'm like, oh my God, this woman's here to like we're in deep shit. My mom. I remember my mom being like, "What do you mean? Like you're at my door for this? Like, did anybody like? Is anybody really actually hurt? Like this kid's feelings hurt? Like did he start the? We don't even know what happened. Like go home. It's dinner time.
Get out
Got a
of here.
half-filled ham in the microwave.
That's wild.
But like I feel really privileged to have grown up in that time, and like I'm sure like every generation says that, but
Yeah.
particularly because I didn't have we didn't have cell phones, we didn't have internet, we didn't have really the technology that these kids have access to. So I really feel that my generation and every year after that just like slowly changed.
1,000%.
Yeah.
I think your generation was less than Mohicans because you were right at that cusp.
Yeah, we
Right.
got cell phones in high school, but you had to T9 to text, and if you sent like too many text messages, your parents would beat the shit out of you because like you'd get like a $50 cell phone bill.
Yeah.
Like you didn't like you called, you hung up because you only had 30 minutes a month.
Yeah.
Not wild.
Yeah, like the communication changed a lot, and I don't think we've as a culture quite realized what has happened in the last 20, 25 years because everything is happening so quickly. For instance, do you know what ChatGPT is?
No idea.
So there's this computer system called ChatGPT, and they're on the 4th version of it right now. It's artificial intelligence.
Okay.
It's now capable of passing the bar exam better than like 70 or 80% of candidates.
That's wild.
This system, we are now talking about this in everyday technology and now using it into our lives and integrating. This is bigger than the printing press, and nobody has stopped to even look at it.
Well,
Google is bigger than, like, we've had printing presses come out every year for the last 25 years. Like every year, like there's not, innovation used to happen, like the printing press happened, and then it's like 30, 40, 70 years later, something else comes along. Now it's like every year or every couple months, something's getting innovated on a level that's changing the world.
Well, the amount of attention that AI is getting right now on the news, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah. What is your like Tom's hot take on AI and the future?
Better.
Not good. You don't have a.
No, I do.
Yeah.
I think we're headed to a fucking.
Do you think we're going Terminator to style?
1,000%.
Yeah, we're gonna fight the machines.
1,000%.
But if you were a machine, right?
Yeah.
And you were capable of thinking as smart as this machine, would you fight us head on?
If I was a machine,
These
guys would wipe us out without doing a thing. It's just a simple push of a button.
What if it's already here?
1,000%. It's here. One flip of the switch and the power grid's off.
Would you run through ChatGPT, Gilmore?
I said
Here's a recipe for Texas style barbecue. What was your question though? What was your prompt?
it was write me a recipe for Texas barbecue.
Okay.
Look at that.
Jesus.
Yeah, that shit's crazy, bro.
I've asked it some questions. I think I'm going to do an episode on the questions I've asked this thing because I've gone deep into like its capability of explaining and orating like real things is insane.
I've asked it to write me code, and it would write me code for something.
It's scary how it's getting better and at a faster rate.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't think we have a Terminator style war with the machines because I think the machines would become, once it becomes self-aware, it would just like, we have no shot. So I think best case scenario, we integrate with it peacefully.
But I mean, you have to question why a guy like Elon Musk would say, you need to put a cap on this.
Well,
a little bit.
he's concerned with it for a lot of reasons, like obviously like on that level, but he's also a really big like anti-depopulation person, being that the baby boomer population is the largest generation in American history by a long sorry. It's quite large. And then you have our generation that I think currently 44% of our, like me and Gilmar's like millennial age. You're millennial, right?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I was born in 94. I don't really
I don't know what we are.
So I'm Gen X, you're millennials.
I think millennials, where millennials end is that like you don't remember September 11th.
I don't really think I remember it. I was in a second or third
Then you're
grade.
possibly not a millennial.
Wow.
I was in a second grade when that happened.
Millennials like were aware of September 11th.
I remember in middle school, we had a Middle Eastern teacher, and we dared this kid Ruben to ask her who did 9/11.
Stop.
That's fair.
And he got sent to the office, and I was like, "What did you do?" He's like, "They made me watch the news for 2 hours." I was like,
is
"Oh
that the breakdown?
shit!"
Is that what it is? Like that's the cutoff? They use that as a.
I don't know.
I
Is
think
that
that's one of the unofficial cutoffs.
yeah. Anyway? As you were saying
What was I even saying? So you brought 9/11
about millennials and
Gen Z.
Gen Z.
Gen Z. Oh, the population. So I
Population.
think 44% of the millennial generation plans on not having kids. So if you take in the baby boomers are up here, and then you have like the Gen X and everything like that, if our generation doesn't aggressively repopulate, there's going to be a
dip.
A huge dip in the American population while like not too long from now.
Yeah.
Like probably 15, 20 years. So all of these houses that we're building, like, are we going to drive past neighborhoods that don't have any people in them?
Ghost towns.
Isn't there ghost towns in Japan and shit? Not
Everywhere.
Japan.
It's
China.
China because China calculates its GDP differently than us. Did you know about this?
Yeah, I heard about
How do
this,
they
yeah.
calculate it?
So United States, I build a house. Until I sell you the house, no positive contribution to GDP. Gross domestic product, for those of us who don't follow. It's basically how we evaluate how much we produce into the economy. So China builds stuff, they add that positive GDP to their economy without selling it. So China will just build entire cities that they have no plans on putting any people in, so that they look more successful as a country.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, Chinese ghost cities. Look it up. It's insane.
Yep.
I wasn't saying. I mean, you can look it up too right now, but I was telling people to look it up.
But there's also a back end to that too. Like the reason why they don't rent it out is because it turns it into an investment as opposed to an asset.
So you can depreciate the. Yeah.
Yep. That's why they build a lot of places. They buy places here.
Damn, that's a savage move, because then you can literally live debt free while living simultaneously in 100% debt.
Hey, there were some buildings in Jersey City when I was doing real estate.
Yeah.
Literally, 2/3 of the building was bought by China Construction. They built it and bought into their own complex.
Yeah, but that's
Never rented them out.
and that's a decent amount of time ago. That was already happening.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Did you see the ghost cities?
I just asked Chat GPT how many ghost cities are in China.
There's 50 to 100 ghost cities in China?
That's wild.
I thought there was like 20, 30. Damn.
I keep picturing like the hills have eyes type of cities.
Yeah.
Right?
There's that city out in the desert outside of Las Vegas. What's that called?
Oh, fuck.
It was just on something recently.
Yeah.
People go there. There's no laws. There's no rule. Like, but there's no infrastructure. Like, people probably die out there all the time. It's kind of sad. What is it?
Rhyolite?
No.
No, right?
No.
I literally just looked it up last weekend.
Yeah, I heard about it recently as well.
I would type in like lawless towns.
But I think it's empty.
Oh.
It was a coal town.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Not Gold Point.
Nelson.
Wait, Good Spring? No.
When we were in Albania, we went to a couple places that were like, ex-Soviet, like bunkers and stuff like that, that were abandoned, and those were super eerie. Because you imagine like all the people during the Cold War, like manning the stations and stuff like that. Like, dude, this was way more serious than the movies lit on.
Yeah, right.
Cold.
Damn, I can't fucking find it either.
I'll text it to you.
Here, go click on the top 6 most dangerous. That one right there. West Las Vegas. Oh, okay. These are Naked City, Isa, Charleston Heights, downtown.
Wow.
Okay. These were actually dangerous places. It wasn't like a.
It wasn't like a lawless city or anything.
You know,
What the fuck?
whatever.
I do remember hearing about it recently. It's kind of weird.
I forgot why it came
yeah.
up. It was on a TV show for something.
Mm.
They're talking about this massive ghost city.
Saw it on YouTube or something.
Something.
Yeah, I saw some kids went to it and
That's
tried
what
to
it
stay
was.
overnight.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
This famous YouTuber went to the city.
The Sea Boys.
Sea Boys?
Yeah, Sea Boys. Is that who it was?
Oh,
don't know.
Or was
Oh,
it
it's gonna drive
Duncan?
me
Or was
crazy.
it Duncan?
No, it was.
I'll tell you right now.
I didn't watch the video, but I saw the thumbnail. If that makes any sense, but it was something on YouTube.
Yeah, did somebody just pull up out front? I just saw a car like circling around.
I don't know. Sometimes people
Was.
turn in here by accident
Okay.
and then they
I
leave.
don't know if I
Yep.
just sounded
Secret abandoned. Yeah, this is it. Mo Sargi.
No, Sargi.
Max Martin. I am a professional skier and
Whoops. Yeah, put that on YouTube. Mo Sargi.
Mo Sargi?
Yeah, secret abandoned zombie apocalypse town. It's in New Mexico, not Vegas.
I was close.
Yeah, right there.
One city over. What?
Yep, that's it.
Why though? What is it? Just like what were they using it for?
Eagle Mountain. That's it. Yep, that's the one.
Eagle Mountain. Holy shit.
Yeah, like people were killed and stuff.
This guy's running.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just.
Wouldn't you?
I don't know. I got a weird sense of
I
humor.
don't know, man. Let me tell you something.
Like, do you go to a place? Like, if you go to a place like that to like creep around and like, do you bring a gun?
1,000%.
Yeah, you should. You definitely should.
That's like
You bring a rifle.
okay. So, I think that if you go to a place like this and you don't bring a rifle and something happens to you, we're just like whatever.
Listen, there is shit out in this world.
You gotta be ready for it.
1,000%. You remember the movie Out of the Furnace?
No,
You don't remember that movie?
no. Well, who's in it?
Christian Bale,
Out of the furnace.
Woody Harrelson was in it. It was about the Ramapo Mountains,
No.
where they had this like inbred family that lived in these mountains that like nobody went to. And
Bless you, child.
bless you,
Thanks.
that's a real town up in
Yeah.
the woods. I think I forgot what part of New Jersey. It's like way north. But they're out there, man. So like you go up these hills, the cops won't follow you. Because these dudes are doing whatever they're doing. Like they have their own rules.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah,
It's crazy
At
out
the end
there.
of the day, being a cop really doesn't afford you too many protections.
No.
It is a false sense. Like, I think we all live in a false
Bless you.
sense of. Gilmore, are you dusty over there?
Allergies fucking me up
bad.
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the first year I've ever gotten them.
Really?
Yeah, I've never.
It's horrible.
This is the first year that I've ever gotten them like this bad.
Yeah. I was laid up last week. Killed me.
Fucking me
maybe,
up.
maybe it's the lack of snow we got this year.
It might be, bro.
I think the bugs are going to be particularly bad.
I hope. Apple cider vinegar. Drink that.
Apple cider vinegar.
You won't get stung.
Why would I drink that?
Because you won't get stung.
That stuff is gross, though.
No, it's not. You can get them with like honey in them. They have those shots.
Apple cider vinegar.
I'm telling you, you will not get bit.
I'll look into this.
Okay?
Is this one of your like Lebanese tricks?
It is. Habibi,
I'm more.
drink this.
I'm more likely to try it if I know Aladdin did it. Where can people find you, Tom? I feel
Don't.
like on Instagram.
Don't find me.
Don't find
I'm
me.
joking. Yeah, Instagram, Holy Que Smokes.
Holy Que Smokes.
That's my home.
You'll be open by the time this comes out.
I'll be open next week, yeah.
Yeah, so get the meat.
28th.
Get the meat. This will come out the following week.
Yep. I'll do a video on Monday when the smoker comes in.
Oh my god, I can't wait.
Yeah.
No, just looking at this page, Gilmore, that Friday, we're going.
Yeah, we should.
We need to
Okay.
It's
rendezvous.
gonna be a good time.
Rendezvous on the meat. Dude, thanks for
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
thanks for being our friend.
Yeah.
coming
Oh,
on.
thank you.
Thanks for coming on the first time.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
We're due for another dinner.
Yeah, we'll
due.
we'll do for another dinner. We'll go to dinner for sure. Mike Gilmore this time.
1,000%.
Down.
For sure. So, Holy Q, Tom Peters, Gilmar Rambo, Andrew, No Prisoners Podcast. Thanks for listening. We'll see you guys next week.
Yeah.